This was in November of 1944. We were sent to, I believe it was Weymouth, England, and there we were waiting, and then Christmas Eve rolled by. It was nobody expected anything, but then suddenly at the very, very last minute, pack your bag, get on a train, boom, you're going. It was just like that. We never even had a chance to really pack all the things. Now, I'll tell you a little story here. There was one company, Company F, and the captain of that, I forget what his name was, but he was a West Point graduate. And they were really the crack outfit in the 2nd Battalion. They were number one in everything, extremely efficient and everything. So they were the first ones packed, and there were 2 trains that left Weymouth for Southampton. We, of course, were slow, and we got on the 2nd train. Well, they were on the 1st train, and they got there. You say, what's the difference? When the first ones got there, they got on to Leopoldville first, and they went down in the holes in the bottom because they loaded from the bottom up. And we slowpokes got up on deck B, I believe it was. So we were up on the top. What happened was about, I guess, 4 or 5 miles just outside of Cherbourg, boom, we hit this sudden thud, and a German torpedo hit our stern, and right in the stern, and poor old Company F were wiped out completely. I think there were about 4 guys that survived. They happened to have been up in the latrine when the torpedo hit, and the captain went down in the hole, and he rescued tried to rescue as many men as he could, but he ended up drowning in the ship as it was. I ended up coming up on deck. I remember it was really a mixed crew there. The captain was Belgian. He couldn't speak any English. The officers were British Navy, and the crew were Congolese. And I remember coming on deck, the crew had all their suitcases. They went headed straight for the lifeboats and left the ship. And we were always wondering, what are we going to do next? Us lowly enlisted men there. Anyway, we come up on the deck waiting for orders that never came. And we waited and waited. They taught us in the Army how to climb up cargo nets when we left the ship, but nobody instructed us on how to release these life rafts from the ship. And we hacked it away with our bayonets and rifles and whatever we had. Nothing worked. Later on, of course, when the ship sank, they all came off automatically, but we didn't know this at the time. Anyway, I got up in the forward deck of the ship, and we must have sat there, I think the torpedo hit us somewhere around 6 o'clock, and this was something like 8 o'clock, almost 2 hours. That thing just sat there, and we're there, highly disciplined enlisted men, waiting for order that never came. I'm not kidding you. Morale that started to get a little questionable. Where's our wonderful leaders, and what are they doing? They were all too afraid of breaking radio silence is what happened.